of soft kisses brushing against skin. Blinking his eyes open, he found Megan sitting beside him. Her lips curved into a warm smile. "Good morning," she greeted him cheerfully. "You were sleeping so soundly." With a yawn and a stretch, Andrew reached out, pulling her close. Today was going to be a long one. First, he had to drive her to the train station, then head to work. And later, he had plans to catch up with friends. "Remind me again, when will you be back?" he asked, watching as she zipped up her suitcase. 3 days from now," Megan replied, tucking in the last few items for her trip. "We have an informal meetup today, and the conference officially starts tomorrow." Although she was only traveling to the next town for a short while, her luggage was packed to the brim with clothes and shoes. Andrew felt a pang of sadness. He had always disliked goodbyes, and this morning a strange unease crept over him. "I'm really going to miss you," he murmured. Megan wrapped her arms around him from behind, nuzzling her face into his neck. The drive to the station, the goodbye kiss, work. The day passed in a whirlwind. His phone kept buzzing with notifications. Megan was sending him pictures and messages throughout the day. One showed the train's interior and the view outside her window. Another was from a cozy restaurant where she and her colleagues had lunch. By evening, Andrew knew almost every detail of her schedule, where she was eating, which street her hotel was on, and exactly where the conference would take place. Just as he was heading out to meet his friends, his phone vibrated once more. A short message from Megan popped up. "Just got to the hotel. I'm exhausted. Turning off my phone. Crashing for the night." Andrew smiled, typing a quick reply. "Sleep well, love. Sweet dreams." Then he slipped the phone into his pocket. Outside the bar, his friends Mike, Jay, and David were already waiting. "Hey, man," Mike greeted, slapping him on the back. They exchanged handshakes before stepping inside. "So, how's it feel being a free man tonight?" David teased, grinning. The others laughed, but Andrew merely chuckled, shaking his head. Unlike him, they were all still single, seated at a table with drinks in hand. The conversation flowed easily, but Andrew couldn't shake the lingering sense of emptiness. "Dude, lighten up," Mike nudged him after noticing his lackluster mood. "It's been forever since we got together, and you look like you're at a funeral." Andrew sighed. "I can't help it. I miss Megan," he admitted. "Honestly, I'm this close to just driving over there. I should have taken time off and gone with her." His friends groaned in unison. "You're hopeless, man," one of them muttered. 15 minutes later, Andrew still hadn't even touched his drink. Suddenly, he made up his mind. He shot up from his seat, muttered a quick goodbye, and headed outside to call a taxi. First, he'd stop by his place to grab his car. Then he was off. Excitement bubbled in his chest as he drove, the idea of surprising Megan fueling his adrenaline. 200 kilometers wasn't that far. The road stretched ahead, mostly empty, with streetlights flashing past in a rhythmic blur. As he approached the city, he slowed down, quickly punching the hotel address into his GPS. "Turn left in 20 meters. You have arrived at your destination." The robotic voice guided him to a sleek, upscale hotel in the heart of downtown. At the reception desk, a bright-eyed woman greeted him with a welcoming smile. Her name tag read Veronica. "Good evening, sir. How can I assist you?" Flashing his most charming grin, Andrew leaned forward. "Hey, Veronica, I'm here to surprise my wife. She's staying in room 278. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. "Let me just confirm that for you," she said, still smiling. Her brows furrowed. "There's no one by that name in our system. And room 278 is unoccupied." A cold wave of dread washed over him. His legs wobbled beneath him. That can't be right," he stammered. "Can you check again? Maybe under these names." He rattled off the names of Megan's colleagues, the ones she was supposed to be attending the conference with. Veronica shook her head once more, concern creeping into her expression. "I'm afraid none of those names are in our records either." Andrew felt like the ground had vanished beneath him. Stumbling out of the hotel, he leaned against the cold exterior wall, trying to steady his breathing. In the distance, muffled bass from a nearby nightclub thumped through the night. His hands trembled as he pulled out his phone and dialed Megan. Straight to voicemail, Again and again. 1,000 thoughts raced through his mind. Should I just go home, wait out the 3 days, and confront her then? Then it hit him. Months ago, when he gifted her a new phone, he had installed a tracking app just in case she ever lost it. His fingers fumbled as he opened the app. A second later, a blinking that appeared on the map. His stomach dropped. She wasn't at a hotel. She was at a nightclub. Andrew barely registered, tossing a few bills at the club receptionist as he stormed inside. The pounding music vibrated through his chest, neon lights flashing over sea of bodies moving to the beat. The air was thick with sweat, liquor, and perfume. His eyes darted around, scanning every corner. At the bar, a line of tipsy patrons swayed on their stools, some laughing, others barely upright. Then his breath caught a familiar silhouette. Megan. She wore a tight, shimmering dress, one strap slipping off her shoulder, perched on the bar counter, her legs parted just enough for a man sitting between them on a stool. His hands rested on her thighs, fingers lazily tracing circles against her skin. Andrew's pulse pounded violently. Megan leaned down, her lips meeting the stranger's in a slow, drawn-out kiss, a kiss that made time stop. When she finally pulled away, she turned, and their eyes met. Shock flickered across her face, morphing into something unreadable. In a flash, she yanked the fallen strap back into place and slid off the counter. Tears welled in her eyes as she took a shaky step forward. Andrew didn't move. Megan! His voice was drowned out by the music. She reached for him with trembling hands, but he recoiled. His fury broke loose, gripping her by the shoulder. His voice cracked. Why? She had no answer. His grip loosened. His arms felt his sides. Turning on his heel, he shoved to the crowd, the deafening music fading into white noise. Rain pelted against the windshield as he sped down the highway, his wipers struggling to keep up. His breath came in ragged gasps. For a brief second, he considered calling his father. How did you survive when Mom left? But he swallowed the thought. That was a pain his father had already endured once. He wouldn't drag him through it again. By morning, Andrew had gathered every trace of Megan from their home. Clothes, shoes, books she loved, souvenirs from trips they'd taken together. It all went into a large cardboard box. With a marker, he scrawled junk across the side. When he stepped outside, he froze. Megan was already there, suitcase in hand. The man from the club sat behind the wheel of a parked car, engine idling. For a moment, neither of them spoke. They just stared at each other. She clutched her purse. Andrew gripped the box. Finally, he set it down at her feet. Take your trash and get the hell out of my life. The box tipped slightly, spilling its contents onto the pavement. A lacy undergarment landed near her sandals. Megan scrambled to collect everything, hands shaking. Andrew didn't wait. He turned, stepped inside, and locked the door behind him. For the first time in days, his chest felt lighter. Megan moved in with the other man almost immediately, but she never pushed for marriage. Deep down, she feared he'd leave her just as easily. The months dragged on. At first, she convinced herself that things would settle, that happiness was just around the corner. But the man she had chosen was nothing like Andrew. He treated her more like a servant than a partner. No affection, no appreciation. She kept telling herself it would get better, that warmth would come back, right? But it never did. All he did was take. And then the violence started. At first, it was small things, an arm gripped too tight, a shove in frustration. Then came the real bruises, hidden beneath long sleeves and makeup. She avoided old friends, terrified they'd see what she had become. Then one night, after a particularly brutal beating, she found herself in a hospital bed. Her parents came. They took her home. She spent weeks in silence, drowning in regret, reliving the moment she had thrown away the only real love she had ever known.